talking about pay-per-views right now, and this actually was something rumored online I wanted to bring up, that brand specific pay-per-views, it was asked if they're going to do that now that we have two general managers in Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis. Triple H not a fan of it, neither am I.
I'm not either. It's kind of one of those things that's so like tricky too, because I get the point of it, and then we also get 2 pay-per-views a month usually. At least there was that time period where they would have a Raw one and a SmackDown one. Then there was that period where you only got a Raw one this month and only a SmackDown one next month. I don't think it's the smartest idea, because then you're limiting yourself, I feel like, with how much storylines you can actually have going on at the same time. But then also it puts a lot of pressure on each show, because, I mean, I get it, but like, you're still one brand, even if you are trying to be like Raw is different than SmackDown. It's like, okay, but one roster is probably significantly better than the other. And I'm going to say that Raw is probably better than SmackDown, simply because it's a 3-hour show compared to a 2-hour show. So they do have to be a little bit more stacked, because they have an entire hour more to fill.
Yeah.
And so that kind of screws you over when it comes to brand specific pay-per-views, because you would assume the Raw ones are going to do better than the SmackDown ones. Because of that, not to mention you got a champion on SmackDown that's not showing up all the time. So like, why would I tune in if you're not even defending the title, or the title's not even an active part of your program?
Yeah, they were like, what do I want? The US title main eventing the pay-per-view? I mean,
Yeah.
like, I don't want Rey Mysterio main eventing pay-per-views anymore. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I think
over
that's part of it. Like, I like the addition of, Aldis and Pierce kind of having this rivalry or whatever, and kind of going back to that old school mentality of Raw's better, no, SmackDown's better, like blah, 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 and like trying to fight over, the rosters. But I feel like that's as far as it needs to go. Like, it's heightened right now because Survivor Series is right around the corner. But I think other than that, we can kind of see some of these little interactions, maybe a little bit of bickering. But I would like to believe it's not going to lead to anything like brand specific pay-per-views, because
it waters down the product in my eyes, because
yeah,
you're just doing it to do it. At least with pay-per-views should always be a payoff. It should be a payoff of what the fans are watching live on free television, and that the match has significance, that you want to pay for it. Not really the case now with streaming services, but you get the point.
right.
And with the way the current rosters are, it just does not make sense for them to do that, because then it's just an elevated show, a free show, and it gives no feeling to it. It's just like, oh, I'm gonna watch SmackDowns. It's basically, I'll compare it to AEW in a way. Okay, AEW does their Dynamite shows, like Winter is Coming, the Shark Week one that I went to, or whatever. That to me would be brand specific pay-per-views in WWE. But like, I'd rather be more excited for a free show where it's like, oh, it's this one, it's an elevated SmackDown, it means more meaning to SmackDown, not, oh, it's a whole other pay-per-view and all this. Like, it doesn't make sense, not only logically, but financially either.
Yeah. It feels like it would just be another reason to be like, okay, then just make SmackDown 3 hours.
That's a
Like,
great point. Yes.
like, just do that instead, because then that gives us an extra hour of television every week. And then like, you want to showcase your best people on these shows, or even, go back to pay-per-views being a little bit longer. Triple H wants to limit the number of matches on the cards, because he doesn't want them to be too long or to have too many pointless matches, whatever. And it's like, okay, but if you're concerned about, the brand split or whatever, it's like, there's other things that you can do to ensure that people are paying attention or care about the brand split or whatever you're trying to do, without actually having brand specific pay-per-views, because they were never good. They were never good.